Michan and Yamada-san is already being judged before audiences have seen how the anime adaptation handles its most sensitive material. Critics fear its portrayal of a vulnerable character could reinforce the same discrimination the story may be trying to expose. And that concern deserves to be heard. But right now, some fans, especially Japanese ones, are treating a warning as though the anime has already been found guilty. And that may be where this controversy starts going too far. The controversy centers on how the story portrays a vulnerable young woman and the mistreatment she experiences. Some critics worry that once this material becomes an anime, certain viewers could ignore what the story is criticizing and instead turn the character's suffering into jokes, mockery, or even more discrimination. And honestly, that fear did not come from nowhere. Because anime fandoms and by extension manga fandoms, some, not all, do not always handle difficult characters or sensitive themes with maturity. A story may be exposing cruelty while part of the audience completely misses the message. But the behavior of those viewers does not automatically tell us how the anime itself will frame the story, and that difference matters. This is where difficult storytelling often gets misunderstood. Showing discrimination is not necessarily the same as supporting it. Showing a character being mistreated does not automatically mean the story agrees with that treatment. Sometimes the purpose is to make the audience uncomfortable enough to recognize how cruel that behavior is. But good intentions alone are not enough. The direction, music, dialogue, and framing will all affect how viewers interpret these scenes. So yes, the studio has a responsibility to handle the material carefully. We simply do not know yet whether it will succeed or fail. But the discussion did not stay focused on whether the adaptation might be harmful. Part of the Western reaction quickly turned into another familiar fandom fight: real fans versus tourists. People expressing concern were accused of trying to censor anime they did not understand. People defending the adaptation were accused of ignoring discrimination. And once fans begin arguing over who belongs in the community, the actual story becomes secondary. The debate stops being, how should this material be handled? It now becomes, which side proves that I am a real anime fan? Before we go on further, Anime Source Central explore why anime fans argue, judge, and react so strongly. If that sounds like your kind of content, then subscribe. There is nothing wrong with raising concerns before release. Manga readers may recognize material that deserves careful treatment, and viewers are allowed to explain what they hope the studio avoids. The problem begins when concern becomes certainty. Saying the studio needs to handle this responsibly is not the same as saying this anime should not exist. One asks the creators to be careful, the other decides that a sensitive story cannot be trusted before its execution has been judged. Ratings, content warnings, and responsible promotion could prepare viewers for what kind of story they are entering. Those measures will not control every joke, comment, or bad faith interpretation online. Because the reality is, no studio can control every person watching.
Yes, exactly.
So why do fans feel the need to reach a verdict this early? Part of it comes from protection. When people believe a story could harm a vulnerable group, waiting can feel irresponsible. They may believe that speaking early could prevent damage later. But there is also an emotional need to place a story into a clear moral category, whether it's safe or dangerous, responsible or offensive, worth defending or deserving rejection. Uncertainty is uncomfortable, especially online, where the strongest opinions often receive the most attention. So fans may rush to judge the story because choosing a side feels safer than admitting they do not yet know how the adaptation will handle it. The fair position is not to dismiss the concerns surrounding Michan and Yamada-san. The adaptation should be watched carefully, and the studio should be held responsible for how it frames this material. But concern should remain concern until the anime gives audiences something concrete to judge. A warning is reasonable, discussion is reasonable, even criticism based on the manga can also be reasonable. But treating the adaptation as guilty before its execution has been seen turns caution into a final verdict. Sensitive stories should not be protected from criticism simply because they are difficult, but they also should not be condemned simply because their subject makes people uncomfortable. Michan and Yamada-san may eventually deserve criticism for how it presents the story, or it may show that difficult material can be adapted carefully without supporting the cruelty it portrays. Right now, we honestly do not know. And that is why concern should lead to scrutiny, not become a guilty verdict before the anime has even aired. So are fans raising a necessary warning? Or are they trying to cancel this anime way too soon? And one anime that persons definitely want to cancel is Mushoku Tensei. Are you a bad person for watching and enjoying this series? Well, click on this video to find out the answer to that question. So I'll see you there. And that's it. Now go on.